Have you ever wondered why the oldest Bible, an ancient sacred text that has existed for millennia, has been hidden from your sight? Why has the image of a black Jesus, a symbol of hope and liberation for millions, been systematically avoided and even distorted by Western churches? In this video, we're going to peel back the layers of forgotten history and explore one of the most powerful and suppressed Bibles ever known, the Ethiopian Bible. This isn't just another version, it's a profound text that contains truths never meant to be revealed, stories that were erased, and a depiction of the Messiah that the Western world has gone to great lengths to conceal. Prepare to have everything you thought you knew about the Bible and the history of Christianity deeply challenged. The Ethiopian Bible, the buried secret. When we talk about the Bible, most people immediately think of the familiar 66 books of the Protestant canon or the 73 books of the Roman Catholic canon. But what if I told you there's an even older, more complete Bible, preserved intact in a remote corner of the world? A text containing not 66, not 73, but 88 sacred books. This is the Ethiopian Bible, also known as the Ge'ez Bible, an immense treasure trove of religious knowledge. The difference in the number of books between the Ethiopian Bible and Western Bibles, like the popular King James Version, is more than just a numerical discrepancy. It represents an entirely different worldview, a distinct historical and theological lineage that was deliberately severed. Books like the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, and the Ascension of Isaiah aren't just apocryphal additions. They contain detailed prophecies, profound historical narratives, and cosmic revelations that Western versions chose to omit. For instance, the Book of Enoch offers an in-depth look at the fall of angels, the emergence of the Nephilim, and the mysteries of heaven and hell, details that Western churches seemingly don't want you to know, perhaps because they challenge established doctrines. The history of the Ethiopian Bible, the heart of early Christianity. A black Jesus. Yes, you heard that right. The Ethiopian Bible not only paints a different picture of this historical figure, but also reveals a stream of Christianity that developed independently, uninfluenced by the political power of the Roman Empire. The roots of Christianity in Ethiopia can be traced back to the 1st century AD through the story of the Ethiopian eunuch baptized by Philip, Acts 8:26-40. This means Christianity took deep root in Ethiopia even before it was legalized in Rome, Council of Nicaea, in 325 AD. The history of Ethiopian faith is a powerful testament to a Christian culture untainted by the political and imperial agendas of the West. While Western Christianity often had to adapt to emperors, dynasties, and political wars, Ethiopian Christianity flourished in independence, preserving its pristine nature. They were not forced to alter texts or doctrines to fit an empire's agenda. The profound lesson here is that authentic faith can thrive and develop strongly without the validation or interference of secular power. The importance of the Book of Enoch. Why was the Book of Enoch removed from the Western Bible? It contains things no one wanted you to know. The Book of Enoch is not just one of the most important books in the Ethiopian Bible, but also one of the oldest surviving Jewish texts, dating back to at least the 3rd century BC. It's not merely a brief mention in Genesis of a man who walked with God and was no more. In the book bearing his name, Enoch is led into the heavens, witnessing the universe's secrets, the fall of the angels, the watchers, and detailed prophecies about the final judgment and the coming of the Messiah. The uniqueness of the Book of Enoch compared to other biblical texts lies in its expansive cosmic vision and specific future prophecies, including descriptions of the Great Flood and the end times. It provides deep insights into the origin of evil and the intervention of supernatural entities in human history. It's precisely these details, too bizarre or too revelatory, that likely made it a threat to Western churches attempting to establish a unified doctrine and control information. If people knew these cosmic secrets, would they still accept the interpretations of the clergy? This is a book with the power to change perceptions about the world and about God. Black Jesus, reality or historical revisionism? One of the most shocking aspects of the Ethiopian Bible for Western thought is the image of a black Jesus. While Western churches have propagated an image of a white Jesus with blue eyes and blonde hair for centuries, an image with no historical or geographical basis, in Ethiopian monasteries and churches, Jesus is depicted with a darker complexion, much like the people of ancient East Africa and the Middle East. Ancient Ethiopian frescoes, icons, and statues of Jesus, dating back hundreds of years, consistently portray a dark-skinned Christ. This stands in stark contrast to the white Jesus popularized after the European Renaissance, a historical revision with a clear purpose, to create a religious icon suitable for white supremacy. The image of a black Jesus isn't just an artistic difference. It's a powerful statement about historical truth and the true origins of Christianity, challenging the idea of racial exclusivity in faith. It affirms that the Bible isn't a solely Western story, but a global one, with deep roots in Africa. The Ethiopian Bible's role in a spiritual revolution. Why were Western denominations afraid of the Ethiopian Bible? Because it tells a different story of power and faith, a story that doesn't center Europe. The existence of a more complete Bible, with omitted books and a different image of Jesus, directly threatened the established power structures and doctrines of Western churches. If these books were accepted, they would shake the foundations of many dogmas and force scholars to rewrite theological history. The Ethiopian Bible, in its unwavering preservation of ancient texts despite suppression, has become a symbol of spiritual resistance. It represents a form of Christianity that did not need validation from Rome or Canterbury, a faith that protected and developed itself for thousands of years. The differences in belief and approach to the Bible between Ethiopia and the West are not just academic. They are a spiritual revolution, where the voice of a marginalized continent is reclaiming its rightful place in global faith history. This is a call for us to re-examine what we've been taught and seek truth beyond the established frameworks. The Ark of the Covenant and the truth behind it. The Ethiopian Bible not only preserves omitted books, but also safeguards one of the most sacred and mysterious treasures mentioned in the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant. According to Ethiopian tradition, the Ark, containing the 10 Commandments of Moses, was brought to Ethiopia by Menelik I, the son of Queen Sheba and King Solomon. Today, the Ark is believed to be meticulously guarded at the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum, Ethiopia. The existence of the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia is not merely folklore. It is a core belief of the Ethiopian people, protected with the very lives of its monks. While Western Bibles end the Ark's story with its mysterious disappearance after the destruction of Solomon's temple, Ethiopian scripture and tradition provide a continuous narrative of its preservation and significance. This belief isn't just about a physical relic. It symbolizes Ethiopia's central role in God's redemptive history. It challenges accepted Western narratives and raises questions about what truly happened to one of the most powerful biblical artifacts, the existence of Ethiopian monasteries, sanctuaries of history. The way Ethiopian monasteries protected and preserved the Bible as a treasure is something Western culture has never fully acknowledged. Tucked away on remote mountain peaks, in secluded caves, or on lake islands, Ethiopian monasteries have become living sanctuaries of history. For thousands of years, these places have been not only centers of spiritual life, but also vast libraries where ancient Bibles were meticulously copied, preserved, and passed down from one generation to the next. While Europe endured wars, looting, and fires that destroyed countless ancient manuscripts, Ethiopian monks, in extremely harsh environments and often threatened by invaders, steadfastly protected their parchment scrolls and ancient books. They dedicated their lives to copying every word, every verse, with painstaking care, ensuring that the sacred words were not lost. This stands in stark contrast to how Western cultures, sometimes for convenience or political aims, were quick to discard or alter texts. The perseverance and loyalty of Ethiopian monks are a compelling testament to an unconditional devotion to truth and the preservation of sacred knowledge. Political ideology in the Bible, the interplay of history and power. Beyond being sacred texts, the Ethiopian Bible also serves as proof of a people's struggle to reclaim their spiritual power. The compilation and selection of books within Western Bibles were not purely divine or unbiased processes. They were profoundly influenced by political ideology and power struggles. Church councils, such as the Council of Nicaea and the Council of Carthage, decided which books would be included and which would be excluded, often based on political doctrines, majority consensus, and conformity to the image desired by leaders. The lesson here is clear and sometimes shocking. The Bible is not just a tool for salvation, but also a tool for control. Books removed from Western Bibles were often those containing information that could challenge the authority of institutions, complicate simplified doctrines, or offer alternative views of the spiritual world. The Ethiopian Bible, in its completeness, is living proof that a different story, a different history of faith, existed, untainted by secular power manipulations. It forces us to ask questions about what has been hidden and why. How Ethiopia protected its biblical texts. Ethiopian monks were not merely scholars. They were spiritual warriors who lived and died to protect the truth within the Bible. Ethiopian history is a long chain of invasions and attempts by Western empires to seize, control, or at least influence their faith and texts. However, the Ethiopians fought valiantly, not just with force, but with unwavering faith and unparalleled protection of their sacred scrolls. For centuries, ancient biblical manuscripts were hidden in caves, buried underground, or moved through secret monasteries to avoid destruction or confiscation. For example, during wars with Islamic empires or attempts by European missionaries to purify Ethiopian Christianity, monks risked their lives to protect every single book. They understood that preserving the Bible was not just about safeguarding cultural heritage, but also about protecting the purity of faith from external influences. This story is a moving testament to the power of belief and the unyielding will of a people to protect what they hold sacred. The continued relevance of the Ethiopian Bible in the 21st century. Today, the Ethiopian Bible is not just a piece of ancient history. It's a powerful catalyst for the spiritual awakening and self-discovery across the globe. After centuries of being overlooked or dismissed by Western scholars and churches, a new wave of interest in the Ethiopian Bible is surging in the 21st century. Researchers, scholars, and truth-seekers are returning to the ancient Ge'ez texts to find deeper insights. We are witnessing an increase in discussions at religious conferences, scholarly articles, and research programs focusing on Ethiopian texts. New translations of the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees are being published, drawing the attention of millions. This resurgence isn't just an academic phenomenon, it's a spiritual movement, as people realize that to fully understand God's story, we need to look beyond what has been presented to us. This is an awakening, a reconnection with forgotten root values and teachings. The awakening of root values in the Ethiopian Bible. The teachings of the Ethiopian Bible can truly change the way you perceive your faith. Books like Enoch and Jubilees, along with Ethiopian traditional interpretations, offer profound values and lessons that can be directly applied to modern life. They don't just speak of ancient history, but also of the nature of good and evil, personal responsibility, cosmic justice, and a more comprehensive view of humanity's role in God's plan. From gaining a clearer understanding of the fall of angels to recognizing the importance of purity of thought, the Ethiopian Bible invites us to delve deeper into our faith. It reminds us that faith is not just about accepting a set of dogmas, but also a continuous journey of spiritual discovery and growth. The lesson here is deeply personal. Each individual can learn from the rich history and steadfast faith of their ancestors, especially those who have been forgotten. Reconnecting with these root values can bring powerful spiritual awakening and guidance for your life in a complex world. Challenges to critics of the Ethiopian Bible. Why does the West refuse to acknowledge the value of the Ethiopian Bible? This is a question without a complete answer, but it stands at the heart of modern academic and theological debate. Some Western scholars and churches still maintain a skeptical or dismissive attitude towards the Ethiopian Bible, labeling it as apocryphal or non-canonical. Reasons often cited include differences in textual origin, the uniqueness of translations, and theological details that don't align with established Western doctrine. However, this resistance is increasingly being challenged. As more scientific and archaeological research confirms the antiquity and reliability of Ethiopian texts, Western denial becomes harder to justify. Is it the conservatism of large religious institutions fearing a loss of control over the biblical narrative? Or is it an inability to accept that an African culture could preserve more crucial truths than what was transmitted in the West? These questions remain open, but asking them is the first step towards discovering the truth and challenging ingrained prejudices. Ultimately, what was buried will rise, and we will understand that our faith is not solely built upon foundations of power. The story of the Ethiopian Bible is a call to awakening. It is living proof of the existence of an ancient, authentic, and powerful form of Christianity, untainted by the political or cultural manipulations of the West. We've explored the forbidden books, the significance of the Black Jesus image, and the resilience of a people who guarded truth for millennia. Discovering the Ethiopian Bible is not just a history lesson, it's a revolution in how we perceive our faith. It forces us to question what we've been taught, what values have been lost, and the importance of seeking truth from every corner of the world. Please share this video, and let's explore more of the secrets behind the Ethiopian Bible. Let's not allow the truth to be buried any longer. If you feel enlightened or challenged by what you've heard today, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. Let's continue this journey of uncovering forgotten stories and prophecies waiting to be revealed.